guys, welcome to episode number 78 of the Driftless Knitting podcast. My name is Jennifer. You can find me on Instagram and Ravelry as Driftless Knitter, and you can find the podcast on Ravelry if you search for Driftless Knitting under the Groups tab. Good morning. I am going to say good morning because it's about 3 minutes until 12, so it's technically still morning. On Monday, April 8th, I am on my day off. Today is my day off, and I am enjoying the beautiful, beautiful weather that we're having today in kind of south central Wisconsin, just outside of Madison. That's where I live with my husband, and yeah, it's a beautiful spring day. I think it's gonna get up to the low 70s today, which is amazing. I don't think it's been that warm since like last fall. It's sunny. I spent the morning on our little deck. It was still a little bit cool this morning, like high 50s, but I had my coffee, I took a book outside, and I just enjoyed sitting outside in the fresh air. I did have like my slippers on and a light sweatshirt because it was a little bit too chilly to be outside in bare feet, but still, it's a step forward, and this is probably my favorite weather. When it gets really, really hot in the summertime, I don't do well in the heat and the really high humidity that we can get here. But this type of weather is like, it's my jam. I love it. I love it. So yeah, I am looking forward to getting back outside in a little bit, but I stopped, or I came back inside to eat a little bit of something, eat a snack, and then get everything ready for the podcast, because it's been 3 weeks, guys, since I've been podcasting, and I apologize for that delay. I was all set to podcast last week, and then my sister called me early on Monday morning and asked if I could go babysit my nephew because he was sick and couldn't go to daycare. Poor little thing. He had a fever. It was so, it's like, I'm not even a mother yet, and I'm still, you have that like pull at your heartstrings when, you know, he's not my kid, but when your kid is sick and you can't do anything for it besides like, you know, giving them medication and sitting with them and, you know, doing those sort of things, but you can't just make it better. And I'm already feeling that like, oh yeah, poor thing. But he, I hope, is feeling better now. It seemed like it. My sister posted pictures of them out in their garden yesterday because it was there's a lot of like maintenance going on today. I apologize if you hear any like bumps or anything. So yeah, so I think they're feeling better. They all kind of ended up getting sick over last week, and I don't think it was a very fun time. Everybody was feeling quite under the weather. So, but I think they're on the upward trend now, feeling better. I thankfully did not get sick from spending the day with him. And yeah, so I was not able to record last week. And then the rest of the week is just not conducive to sitting and recording. We live in an apartment where it's pretty much all open, so I can't, you know, go into a separate room and close the door when my husband is home. And while he probably wouldn't mind if I just, you know, told him to be quiet while I recorded, I don't know, when he's home, I like to spend time with him, and yeah, so it just didn't work out last week. But I wanted to make time today. I have some fun things to show you, some works in progress that I've been working on. I have two designs, and I have some fun yarn to show you. Yeah, it's been an eventful 3 weeks. Work has been really busy, and this past weekend, a coworker and I went to YarnCon in Chicago. I apologize for not telling you guys about that earlier, that I was going, but I really didn't know. We were kind of requested to go by our boss just to check things out, check out maybe some people that we'd want to bring into our store to wholesale from, and meet maybe some dyers that we want to do trunk shows with. We do a trunk show at Knit Circus Yarns every month, and I'm in charge of organizing those. So yeah, so we went kind of on a whim. It's about a 2.5 hour drive to get down there. We were there for about 2 hours, frantically running around looking at everything, and then it's a 2.5 hour drive back. So it was a really crazy trip, and I was mostly there for work, though I did get to get a couple things for myself. So I'll get to that towards the end. But then first off, I want to talk about, I'm trying to think if there's any other like admin stuff I need to talk about. I really don't think so. Yeah, I think that's about it. So let's get started with I will start with the one project that is not a new design. That is in my amazing Resilient Knitter bag. These bags are made from reclaimed fabric. There's some denim at the bottom. There's her awesome leather or faux leather label. And this is a flannel from like a flannel shirt. I absolutely love these bags. I have 2 of them. The other one, I don't know if I ever showed it to you. I have some yarn in it for a project I want to do someday. I don't know when. And so it's not currently like being used, but there is some yarn in there waiting for me. But this was my first one, and I absolutely love it. This reminds me of like an outfit I would wear on like a really casual, comfy day. A pair of old jeans and a pink and brown flannel shirt. Totally get behind that. So this is a little kid sweater. Let me make sure I got the name right. This is from Petite Knit. It is called Anchor's Jacket, and it is an adorable cardigan. I just think that is so cute. It's completely unisex, and I think there are going to be a few of these in my future for various little ones that I like to knit for. This is for my godson and my cousin's youngest boy, her youngest child, Anders. And Anders just recently, like last week, just turned 3 years old. So him and my nephew, my sister's little guy, are just about the same age. My nephew Ronan will be 3 in July, and Anders was born in March. So they're just a few months apart. And I wanted to knit this for his birthday. I'm not going to be seeing them until the 27th of April, so I should be able to get it done by then. I started this and flew on it. Let me get that turned around. And then I have a couple other things that I need to get done. Oh, come on now. Before this, that's not gonna lay very well. So I set it down for a while. I picked it back up today and just did a couple of rows on it. But other than that, I haven't worked on it in maybe a week or so. But it is really fun, honestly. It went so quick. It's done in a worsted weight yarn, and I'm using Barocco Vintage, which is a wool and acrylic blend. It's a really great price point. It's a nice yarn. It doesn't feel like an acrylic. And yeah, I've knit quite a few things out of this yarn. I've knit a lot of baby things out of this yarn, honestly. The old yarn shop I worked at carried this yarn, and then I got this at the yarn shop in this specific color and yarn at the yarn shop in Verona, which is called the Sow's Ear, and that's just a little ways away from where I live. And yeah, like I said, it's just a great choice for kids wear or a sweater quantity if you don't want something that's like super expensive but you still want it to wear well. Barocco Vintage is a really nice choice. This does not have color names, unfortunately, but it is color number 5152. And like I said, it's a worsted weight. There's 218 yards per skein, or 200 meters. It comes in 100-gram balls. And yeah, guys, this is only like $8.50. That's what the tag looks like. It was $8.50 a hank, which is not that bad. It's pretty great. And I have, sorry for that awkward pause there, I was trying to get this to lay straight again. These are my little flapjack progress keeper. That, I still don't know who did this because it came in a kit. I'm pretty sure it was the gnome knitter. Not 100% sure, sorry guys, but it was a long time ago. It was probably about 6 or 7 years ago that I got that, so it's looking a little scuffed up. Poor thing, but it's still great. And I don't know why, but I thought the pancakes went well with this sort of like lumberjacky green that I'm knitting in. I have this on my Addy interchangeable needles. I have the lace, the long lace set, so they have the pointier tip, but they are a full-length needle rather than the, you can get them in the short set so that you can use 16-inch cords with them and knit in the round with a 16-inch, but I prefer using the long needles for all the other projects. I don't want to use short needles for like something I'm doing with a 40-inch cable. So I just have all the 16 inches in all those sizes in fixed sets. And I do love this interchangeable needle set. It works really well for most projects that I've knit with it. Sometimes when you're knitting with a thinner yarn, like a fingering weight on a thicker needle, if you're doing like a sweater or a shawl on like size 5 or 6 and you're knitting a very thin yarn, it can snag a little bit on the join. I've only had it really bother me like once, and I think it was because of the particular yarn. I can't remember exactly what project, but I remember being a little annoyed with it and slightly disappointed, but then I haven't really run into that like since then. So yeah, for the most part, I'm really happy always with these needles. And yeah, I think this shouldn't take me too much longer. Well, depending on how soon I get my other project done, I need to get that one done, and then this one is next. My third one that I'll show you doesn't really have a deadline, but I'd like to get it done like fairly quickly. But yeah, once I get the body of it done, the sleeves should go pretty quick. So that is that. Ooh, that needle sticking out of there could do some damage. Let's tuck that back in. Okay, so that's project number 1. Project number 2 is in my Daisy Girl bag. And I got this Daisy Girl bag at Vogue Knitting Live in Minneapolis last November, and I'm not 100% sure I can actually like show you this whole thing. So let me kind of explain what project this actually is. This is a, oh, let me, without the project in there, it has a see-through plastic window in there, which is really cute. And then of course, you know, it's farm themed if you didn't pick up on that before. So I had to buy this one. So this project was kind of a commission, not really. We were talking at work at Knit Circus about LYS Day, which is coming up at the end of April, April 27th, which is a Saturday. And we not only have a yarn company, we make and hand dye yarn, we also have a store where we sell that yarn and some other yarns, but mostly our hand-dyed yarn. But last year we celebrated our first LYS Day. We had just opened like the fall before that. So this is our second year, and we kind of wanted to ramp things up a little bit. And so we decided we would dye a special colorway. And talking about LYS Day and what we were going to do for it, we were remembering last year where a couple of designers had either coupon codes, people could get a free pattern, and you could use a coupon code to like download it for them, or they were doing like a free 1 day only pattern to kind of celebrate and help promote LYS Day. So we were talking about how fun that would be to do a special pattern, have it up on Ravelry, and have it be free for 1 day only, April 27th, and then of course like keep it on Ravelry, but charge for it after that, most likely. So Jala, the owner, was kind of like, you know, I have a lot on my plate. I don't know if I can design something. And I was kind of like, well, I could. Like, at this point, it was February. I'm like, there's so much time. I've got so much time. Needless to say, I was bandying ideas around and everything, but I didn't actually get down to trying stuff out, trying out stitch patterns, doing a prototype until a few weeks ago. And I think I posted about this on my Instagram, like my wall, is it called a wall? I don't know if it's, anyway, it doesn't matter. There's a picture on Instagram of this tiny little swatch, and I was saying how that was all I had to show for an entire week's worth of knitting, because I would knit, try out a stitch, it wouldn't work, I'd rip it out. I would knit, try out even the shape of it. I wanted to get a certain shape going, and for some reason, like, it wasn't working out, so I'd rip it out. I probably did that about 8 times, maybe 10, before I landed on exactly what I wanted. And that was, it was frustrating. I feel like I would, if it was just me trying to come up with a design, I probably would have set it aside for a while, but I knew that that wasn't an option because I had I'd committed to designing something, and I really wanted to too. It's not just that it was, you know, a job. I really wanted to design this thing and feature this yarn that we were dyeing up special for it and all that stuff. So finally things came together, and I got the look and the texture and everything that I wanted. And I started knitting on like with a sample yarn, just from my stash. And then I got the yarn that was specially dyed for LYS Day, which we're in the process of dyeing to be ready for that Saturday. So anyway, I'm a little more than halfway through, and I really don't know if I can show you, because it's knit up in the special yarn, I don't know if I can show you what it looks like. Oh, that's kind of disappointing. Maybe I can at least hold up a corner of it, show you some texture or something. Let's do that. Okay, so this yarn, like most of our yarns, changes in color as you go. If you don't know Knit Circus yarns, we specialize in gradients. We also do these fun things called impressionist gradients, which means that the color is like speckly and change, but it does still change like a gradient. This is one of those yarns. So I'm just gonna hold up the corner. It is an asymmetrical shawl. It's got, ooh, it's got some greens and blues, but that's not all. I'll save the rest of it for, oh, and you can't see the texture. Okay, so there are big pieces of it that are a texture, and then it goes into some sections of lace. Oh, you can see the texture over here a little bit better. And then the sections of lace kind of grow as you go down the line. So anyway, keep your eye out for this. April 27th, Saturday, April 27th, it will go live on Ravelry. It is called Show Some Love, because hopefully it will inspire people to show some love to their local yarn store. And I've been kind of thinking about this. I know that not everyone has a local yarn store, either that you are near or that you enjoy going to. Unfortunately, there are some local yarn stores that aren't very welcoming for a lot of different reasons, and that really sucks. To not mince words, that really sucks, and I'm sorry if you are experiencing that. where you live. But I will say that if you are still interested in supporting a local yarn store, you don't have to go there physically. There are a lot of LYSs that have online presences. I'm not just meaning to promote Knit Circus, which we do. We have a large online presence, and we sell all of the yarns that you can get in the shop. Besides some of our sale things, we put prototypes and one-of-a-kind yarns on sale, and those aren't listed online. We do have some sale stuff online, but not those like one-of-a-kind skeins. Anyway, there's a couple that come to mind that have great products. I've heard really great things about them, and you can support that. By doing that, you're still supporting an LYS. You're still participating in LYS Day. So this shawl is kind of meant to encourage that. It is, like I said, it's called Show Some Love, and it will be free for one day only on April 27th, and then after that it'll be like a normal pattern price. So yeah, make sure to mark your calendars. I'll remind you again, hopefully I will be recording before April 27th, but I'm really excited about that, and I can't wait to get it finished, off the needles, blocked, and then see, you know, what it looks like. So that is design number 1. Design number 2, I am equally excited about. I'm not sure when this is going to come out, but it's a sock, and I'm knitting this out of Knit Circus yarns as well. Oh, and this is in my little cow bag. This is by Kitchen Counter Crafter. And of course you can't see that because of my light. There's her little tag. And it's just it's the perfect size for a sock project. And I love using these, like my other farm bag and this one, and I have a couple others upstairs that I'll use throughout the summer. These are just so summery to me. I might retire for the season like my flannel resilient knitter. It just seems a little bit more like fall, winter, but we'll see. It doesn't really matter. I don't have to follow the seasons with my bags. Okay, so I will show you this off the sock blocker first, and then I'll put it on there. This one is not blocked. I finished it last week, and I just have a tiny bit of the toe finished on the second one. So this is knit out of our gradient yarn. This is Sagebrush Cowgirl, and I love this colorway. It's blowing out a little bit. I'll show you the texture a little bit better close up. It shows up better in some colors than others. Like this light color, you can see it pretty well. Okay, so this sock has this fun texture section here. It has a stretched cable that goes up the entire front of it. Oh, you can't really see it at all in the green. You can see it a little bit down there in the brown. And yeah, and then texture again on the other side. Oh, there you can kind of see it there. It looks really cool in person, I promise. So let me put it on the sock blocker. You might be able to see it a little bit better there. I can't wait to get these blocked too and just have that cable like really stretch out. Okay, so I'm going to show it to you kind of not completely even on the sock blocker, but I just want to see that cable. Can you see that cable? Oh, the light just like takes away all of the definition of the sock. But I'll take some pictures. I promise it's really cool looking. I also want to try doing this in a solid color before I release it, or at least maybe ask a test knitter to use like a solid or a semi-solid so that it just shows up a little bit more. The gradients are awesome, and I'm really glad that I did it out of this. And I've plans to do out of another colorway that we're bringing back called Home on the Range, which is a much lighter gradient, and I think it'll look really cool in that. But sometimes you just, with the changing of the colors, just can't see the texture quite as well. So these are going to be called Heading West, and yeah, I've had this sort of design in my head for a while, and I just decided, I was casting on this sock set to be included in, Knit Circus is doing a bingo cal right now, which basically means you get a bingo board of all of these different squares that you have to fill in, like a sock project, it's only for Knit Circus yarns, so we do like our different bases. If you're using like a Cordale base or our merino nylon base or something like that, you can fill in all of your, try and get a bingo across or down or whatever, or you can black it out. You can do all of the projects on that bingo board, and it goes from March, so it started end of March and it goes until the end of September. So if you're interested in that, go to the Knit Circus Ravelry page. There's a thread for the bingo cal, and all of the information and the rules and everything is in that thread. It's really fun. We're doing prizes and stuff like that. And then there's a great like chatter thread for people who are doing the bingo cal. It's such a fun group. But while I, of course, can't win prizes, I can still knit along with everybody. So I decided this would be my first bingo project. And like I said, I've got one of the socks done, and the second one is like barely started. Oh geez, I have like yarn everywhere. So this is what it looks like in the cake. And I'm actually, this is stash for me. I bought this sock set like a few weeks after I started working at Knit Circus. So pretty cool. That was a year and a half ago. So yeah, there's my little baby toe. Not much, but that's all right. Still working on it, still getting through it. At least I started the second one. So yeah, keep an eye out for the Heading West socks. I'm really excited about these, and yeah, they went super fast. Once I started knitting it, what was I doing? Oh, I was listening to a Milwaukee Brewers baseball game. I'm a huge Milwaukee Brewers fan, and it's baseball season again, people. So excited! But yeah, so there was one night last week where I was listening to the baseball game, and I knit about half that sock. Like, I was just sitting there just like going to town. And it's nice enough because there's enough room between the cable rows where like it's just stockinette pretty much, that it's really, really fast. And then you get to a cable round and you're like, oh, okay, I'll do this cable round. And then you're like, I can, I'll knit a few more stockinette rounds. Like, that's easy enough. And then you're like, oh, well, I'm already at another cable round. I'll do that. So it like, I don't know, there's not like huge sections of pattern that you have to pay attention to where it's like a slog. It's like you do one round and then you do a few stockinette rounds and then you do one round, so it goes so fast and it's so much fun. I have one person that's already requested that she test them. She's a customer and friend from Knit Circus, and I'm gonna probably send an email to my usual testers. I have a couple friends who usually volunteer to test for me, but yeah, if you see anything on Instagram about them, or if you would like to test knit, just message me on Instagram. I'll have to like check, that you're a sock knitter and everything like that, obviously, and can get them done within a certain amount of time. But otherwise, yeah, give me a message, and I'm always looking for some test knitters that I can count on to test out my patterns. So yeah, 2 patterns in the works at the same time. I usually don't do that. But I am trying to kind of ramp up my pattern designing a little bit. I've gone in such like large chunks of, you know, I'll put out a couple and then I won't put out. I usually just wait until like I have time or the inspiration strikes, and sometimes that just doesn't happen. Sometimes I just have to, I don't want to say force myself, but I have to look at it as like a project I'm doing for work. Like the shawl really helped because it made me, you know, really sit down and think about what I wanted in a shawl and how I was going to construct it. I didn't just sort of like wait for the idea or the picture to pop into my head. The socks were a different story because I had been thinking about that and wanting to do a pattern like that for a long time. And I just finally got around to casting on a pair of socks again. But I think I need to just give myself the opportunity to sit down and not wait until all my needles are free, and not tell myself that I have to wait till I get all my gift knitting done, or I have, you know, to think about designs. Like, it should be something that I feel like I'm doing as like a part-time job or something like that, because that's what I kind of want it to be eventually. I don't make a whole lot of money on my designs, which is fine, but eventually it's like I would like it to supplement a little bit of my income and maybe be something that I can use to put towards, you know, when we are looking for a house or something like that, just a little bit extra money that I can, you know, that I can use. So yeah, I'd like it to eventually evolve to that, and I just have to commit and take it seriously and take myself seriously, and not just say that I'm just like, oh, I'm just dabbling in knitwear design. Like, I do want it to be a significant, you know, part of my life. So yeah. Anyway, that's pretty much it for works in progress. I did finish something since the last time we talked, and like I said, I think I said last time that I probably wouldn't have it to show you. Maybe I didn't say that, maybe I was just thinking that. But I had to send it back to Yarnology. It was the Carbeth cardigan that I showed you last time that I was, I think, about halfway through. And I did finish it. It is on its way there. Hopefully it gets there today or tomorrow, I'm thinking, because I sent it out Friday. But, oh, let me just move my legs here. Whew, not as young as I used to be. But yes, so I sent that off, but before I did, I did take a couple pictures of myself wearing it, so I could put it up on my Ravelry page. And while my tripod was already set up, I thought, why not take a little video to talk to you guys about that cardigan, and so I could show it on the podcast. So I will insert that little video clip right here. Hey guys, so I just got done taking some photographs of my Carbeth, which I am wearing right now, and I have to send this to its final destination, its final home up in Minnesota at Yarnology in Winona. I have to send it up there before I get a chance to record another podcast. So I had my tripod set up, I had my light on, I had everything ready, and took some pictures of it on me. So I thought, for my Ravelry page and things like that, so I thought I would just record really quick and tell you a little bit about it. So here it is. You guys saw me in like halfway, I think, like right before I cast on, and then my last podcast episode I was about halfway. So yeah, this is it. It's all finished. It does need a good block and some buttons, but I'm gonna send it to them and then they can do it the way they want it to. But as you can see, it fits really nicely. I like the length of the sleeves. This is a little bit kind of poochy right now, but I think that it will block out really nicely. These are all decreases that you do to get the shape, and I think because of that it's sort of like puckering a little, not puckering, but you know what I mean. Blocking is gonna do wonders for that. So yeah, for the most part I enjoyed knitting this. It's knit with Erin Moore from the Fiber Company, and it's, I forget the name of the colorway, but it's pretty much like the red maroon, as you can see. It does have some really nice like flex in there, like a tweed yarn, like you'd expect for a tweed yarn. And I think I knit this on size 8s and 9s. In the pattern, she's using DK held double to get like a bulky weight, and this is a true Aran weight to like light bulky. So her yarn that she used in the pattern is a lot thicker, I think, than this. So in order to get a good fabric, I did have to go down. I think she used a size 10.5 in the original pattern. I went down to a size 9. I wasn't getting gauge with the 10.5, and it was really like loose. And I want to say that my gauge is a little bit tighter than the pattern called for, but again, I'm thinking a good block will do the trick for that. Plus, I mean, it's not, I think it's knit for, I think this is like the size medium, and this would, yeah, this would fit, I think. I usually wear between a size small and a size medium, so I think this fits really well. It was just a call I made based on the fabric that I was getting with the larger needles. I didn't really like that too much. So yeah, so if you are in the Yarnology area, you can go check out the sample. It'll be there in a few days. I'm going to send it in the mail tomorrow. And yeah, that's pretty much it. So other than that, you guys won't be seeing this until it goes up with the regular podcast episode, but I am planning to record this Monday, which is, what is this Monday? April 1st? Ooh, April 1st, it's April Fool's Day. Cool. Anyway, but I'll see you guys later. Okay, so there you guys go. That's the Carbeth. I did enjoy knitting that, although I was kind of happy to have it off my needles. I was looking forward to getting back to knits that I, you know, really had planned on knitting or really wanted to knit. I'm always happy to help my yarn shops do samples and all of that, but sometimes it's, you know, it's kind of like I have to put aside what I'm knitting, what I want to do, knit that really quick, and then like go back to my stuff. So it was just good to get back to the regular scheduled programming. So with that said, let's get into some stash acquisitions. So didn't I promise you guys last time that I would be good and not buy yarn? I think I did. I'm sorry, I broke my promise. Just a little bit, sort of. Okay, let me start with this one because we had this yarn as a trunk show last month during March, and okay, I'm in charge of the trunk shows at Knit Circus. I contact the people, I set them up, I unpack them when they get there, I count them all up, I repack them, we send them back. Yeah, so I am handling and touching and looking at this yarn a lot. And it's there for a whole month. And sometimes you just end up falling in love with a skein or a colorway and you just can't help it. You just can't part with it when the time comes to send the trunk show home. So that's how I came to be in possession of these 4 beautiful skeins of DK. This is from, let me just grab one because I won't be able to juggle 4 of them while talking to you. Let's get the one with the most color on the outside. Okay, this is from Old Rusted Chair, and she is out of Nashville, Tennessee, right? Yep, Nashville, Tennessee, which is super cool. And this is her 100% merino superwash DK. She calls it Squish DK, which, let me tell you, it is extremely squishy and soft and lovely. And I saw this colorway, which is called Geode, and I just fell in love. It's got this beautiful brown taupey base, and then these pops of turquoise and burnt orange, and what else is in there? A little bit of like a red, but I just, oh my gosh. I love how subtle the speckles are, but still it like just pops right off the background color. So pretty. So she sent 4 of them. And honestly, you guys, I want to make it sound like I didn't, you know, commit to buying this until the last minute, but I'm going to admit to you that I set these aside pretty much immediately. I fell in love with them. I set them aside so no one else could buy them, and I thought to myself, as the month went on, you know, if I looked at them a few times, if I decided I didn't want them, if I looked at them again and, you know, it didn't spark as much joy as it did on the first sighting, I would put them back on the shelf. But in the meantime, I didn't want anyone to be able to buy them but me. That's maybe selfish, but I did end up buying all 4. Because I really want to do like a pullover. And I know that 4 skeins of DK isn't really a lot of yarn, but I think I can do a simple raglan pullover with like 3/4 length sleeves. I think I can get away with that with 4 skeins. There's 231 yards per skein, so what that means, I have 460. Oh, you guys are here watching me do math. 8, 9, 20. Is that right? 9, 20. So yeah, I'm just gonna do something really simple. I haven't figured it out yet. I'm thinking maybe the campside cardie or campside pullover by Alicia Plummer, and maybe take out, it kind of goes quite long, so I might take out one of the last like eyelet sections and just do maybe a longer rib, and then do 3/4 length sleeves, or elbow length sleeves maybe. Not 3/4, that would be like down here. I'm thinking like elbow length. And hopefully I'll have enough yarn for that. So that was my first purchase. I technically didn't get them until the end of March, but they were claimed by me from the beginning of March. So yeah, I was committed. I knew I couldn't let them go. Just, oh gosh, I mean, look at those speckles. Oh God. I love it. So this next thing that I have to show you, I was not expecting to buy, but I saw a kind of an ad for it, I suppose, on Instagram. It was just a post about this book that was coming out, or had just come out, I think. And oh, that's right, because I'm like, how did I even find her? So Christy Glass posted that she did an interview with, I think her username is World Knits, I'm pretty sure, and she had just released a book, does a pattern book, and so I wanted to look at it, and then I just ordered it. I love the patterns, but it was also kind of that, I don't know, you see someone who is putting out their first ever book of pattern designs. It's a dream come true, and they've put so much of themselves into this, and I can imagine how frightening it would be that, you know, you've put time and money and your soul into this project, and what if no one likes it? What if no one buys it? And how in the world am I gonna, you know, just all those thoughts go through your head. And I love supporting makers. I love supporting, you know, indie dyers, of course, and bag makers and things like that, and also designers. I think being kind of one that's trying to break into, you know, the knitwear design world, I can kind of understand what it must feel like, you know, to be, I don't know, putting so much of yourself out there. So I decided on a whim to just order this book, and it was like the last day that I could order the hard copy and then also be gifted a digital copy on Ravelry, which I thought was awesome. So for like my $30, I got a hard copy, a digital copy, and this book has so many patterns in it, you guys. It's insane. So this is called Little Man Knits. It is so cute. So I was talking about my nephew earlier and my godson. I love knitting for them. I knit for my cousin's older son for a long time. I actually just knit him a Weasley sweater for Christmas. And I don't know how much more I'm gonna be able to knit for him because he's getting older and bigger. He's like gonna be 11 this year, which is completely insane. But yeah, I love knitting for her daughter as well, but this book kind of goes to my nephews and the adorable sweaters that I can make for them. Also, this style is what I gravitate towards when I'm looking for sweaters to knit, those special little boys. And she does say that it's grandpa inspired, I think. Yeah, grandpa inspired designs for the little man in your life. Let me find a good, she's got a lot of cool pictures of her knitting, which I think is actually fantastic. Oh, geez. This book is heavy, you guys. So there's like a compilation of all these, you know, posts and pictures of when she was knitting the samples. Okay. This has no pattern instructions or anything on it, so I'm just going to show you the... Look at those cuties. Ah, I just love it. There's so many in here that I would love to knit for my little men, in her words. Let's see, there was one in particular that I was like needing to cast on immediately. I did not. She has a little pair of like lounge pants in here. This one I love. I think this one is really classic. Just a textured, sorry it's kind of weird, I'm trying not to show you any of the pattern instructions. Excuse me. So I love that. There's another one with like cables that I really like. The only thing that I'm just gonna have to suck it up and just deal with it is that all of these are knit flat. Unfortunately. They're knit flat and they're seamed, and oh my gosh. Look how cute! With the cable running down the sleeve and the shawl collar with the button. So cute! Yeah, I think there's only one sweater in here that is not knit in pieces and mattress stitched or seamed together, which part of me, like looking through this, I was just like, what? I love knitting top down raglan, or, you know, picking up sleeves, knitting them all in one piece. Like, that's usually my jam. But there's something to say about a really good structured sweater. And honestly, I'm gonna be in the weird camp and say that I actually kind of enjoy doing mattress stitch. For me, it's more of the preparation to get to that point, to be ready to seam. You know, the blocking, the steaming, the weaving in all the ends, all of that sort of thing you have to do first before you can sit down and sort of pin and then seam. The laying out of it and the making sure it all goes well. The actual seaming, I think, is actually kind of fun. I don't mind a good mattress stitch. It's just like the people who don't mind kitchenering. I've kind of gotten to the point where I'm like, like, I don't hate it, but I still wouldn't do it voluntarily. That's kind of how I'm a little bit more willing to do some mattress stitching. So I'm just gonna have to get over it, and I know for sure, I don't know if you could hear that, somebody's out motoring around in the sunshine. I'm just gonna have to like get over it and cast on one of these days because it's so flipping cute. All right, so that one came in the mail a few days ago, and then on Saturday, this past Saturday, on the, what would that have been? The 6th? Yes. April 6th, my coworker and I and her sister drove down to Chicago to visit YarnCon. And like I said, we were mostly just scoping out potential trunk shows and people that we could work with our shop, handing out business cards, doing things like that. But we did manage to do a tiny bit of shopping for ourselves. And one of the things I got, okay, let me show you the bag first. Actually, no, let me show you the yarn first, because I got this first. So I saw a lot of beautiful yarn, and I was tempted by a lot of beautiful yarn. But I knew, deep down in my soul of souls, that I was going to come home with at least one skein of Bumblebee Acres yarn. Because, you guys, if you've been watching my podcast, you know that almost since the very beginning, pretty much since the very beginning, because I started this podcast right after going to Wisconsin Sheep and Wool the first time, and that's where I first discovered Bumblebee Acres. And I came home with 2 skeins of their, yeah, 2. That was my first Bumblebee Acres yarn. And they were both Harry Potter themed because they do the best fandoms ever. So I have loved them for a long time. I have quite a bit of their yarn in my stash. I enjoy working with their yarn every single time I do. And yeah, I just knew that going to their booth would be dangerous, and I had to hold off buying any other yarn because, yeah, I can't control myself there. So it was funny because we were on a very strict time limit. We had really only about 2 hours to do all the things we needed to do. And it's not a super small show. It's a decent sized show. So we were kind of running around, and we gave ourselves a little bit extra time to go down there, chat with the bumblebees, and do some shopping. So, but I was still kind of looking around when my coworker Bug is like, okay, Jen, she's like, I'm buying my yarn now. You need to make your decision and wrap it up and make your purchase, and we gotta go. And I'm just like, wait, no, oh my gosh, what do I do? What do I choose? And I was kind of like going back and forth, like, no, that one, no, that one. I could have probably bought about half a dozen without even thinking. So I narrowed it down. I kept coming back to, actually, okay, the first one I bought, I saw this one almost immediately walking into their booth. Look at that. It's so earthy and beautiful. And I loved the color. And then what officially sold it to me was that this is Jenny, the colorway Jenny, and it's based on the Outlander, Jamie's sister on Outlander, who I think she's great. I have only watched the first 2 seasons of Outlander, so I don't know if she comes, and actually I'm not even done with the 2nd season, so I don't know if she comes back. I'm assuming that she pops up again at some point, but she is featured heavily in the second half of the 1st season, and she's a little spitfire, and I think she's a great character. So, and it's just so beautiful. So that sold it to me for sure. Oh, excuse me. And this is on their Coquette sock base, which is 75% Cordale and 25% nylon. There are, how many? 434 yards, and it's a fingering weight. And I like how rustic it kind of looks and how the dye shows up on this base. They did have it on other bases, so like they had it on merino nylon and merino and silk, but I liked the rustic look of this. I also bought so I bought 2 skeins. My second skein is also on the Cordale nylon base, And I originally was gonna put this, oh, I showed it to you. Originally was gonna put this with another of their yarns that I have, but I don't think it goes as well as I thought. But actually, I have a really good idea, because we also carry a Corriedale base at Knit Circus, and I think I'm going to, we have, see this like grayish blue? We have a solid color that I think it would look really great with, and then I can do a 2-color project. So this beautiful skein is called Hagrid, Keeper of the Keys, and it is of course inspired by the one and only Hagrid in the Harry Potter books and movies, I suppose. And I think, yeah, I love this. It's so pretty. This was one I kept coming back to. I thought I had preconceived notions of which color I was going to choose because there's one that I've looked at several times at their booth from various shows, and I thought I was going to go home with that one, but this one was just calling out to me. And again, I don't know why, but I just think it looks beautiful dyed up on that rustic woolly base. Sorry, their card keeps flapping around. Let me show it to you. How about that? So it's Bumblebee Acres Farm. They are on all of those platforms down there. And I would highly recommend their yarn. And they're just such a nice family, and like I said, if you're gonna support someone, support good people, and they are some of the best. So I love you guys. I'm gonna like totally fangirl. Okay, anyway, back to the purchases. Those were my only 2 yarn purchases. My last purchase, I was gonna say last but not least purchase, was from Darn Yarn MN. And I think we have all, or a lot of us have seen the Darn Yarn MN bags with the window, the plastic window. But she's actually moving out of doing those and has started doing these bags and a couple other bags that have more like, this one has a wool, like a felted wool base, which is why I loved it. But she also has some with faux leather bases and like cork bases, which are really interesting. Yeah, and I just loved the earthiness of this. She's got this faux leather handle here that can clip on or off. Now I can't, So you can take that off and just have it be a regular bag, or obviously put it on there, carry it around with you, whatever you want to do. And I had my eye on this. We went back to her booth to get something for the store to kind of try out, and to see if we wanted to bring that in for wholesale or for our retail. Yeah, anyway. And so I did end up grabbing this bag and buying it. And then we went to another booth on our way out, the very last booth we stopped at. And I had all of my purchases in this clear plastic bag that the Bumblebees had given out. And the person in that booth looked at me and she's like, "I love how your yarn and your bag match. Did you do that on purpose?" And I looked down. The same exact color scheme, everything, like, yeah. And I'm like, nope, I didn't, but you can tell I gravitate towards these colors. Yeah, the earthy greens and browns are my jam. I think that's the 3rd time I've used that phrase. I'm so sorry. I do love blues. Those are probably my favorite colors, would be blue hues, but anything of like an earthy tone, I just absolutely love. So yeah, I thought that was hilarious. So definitely a successful show, even though it was fast and we had to turn around and leave right away. It was still kind of fun to be in that, you know, around all those knitters and be in that atmosphere. So it was good. And I apologize if anyone was there and didn't find out I was there until afterwards. Yeah, like I said, this wasn't really planned until like a week ago, so apologies about that. Next time, if I know I'm going to a show, I will put it out there a little bit sooner so that in case anyone's in the area, you know, we can meet up or something. But anyway, yeah, I think that's it. I'm just about at an hour. I knew I would probably talk a lot because I haven't been here for a while and had a lot to show you. But I think I covered it all. Keep your eye out for new designs. I'm really hoping that I can get back on here and podcast again. I think 2 weeks from now is actually Easter Monday, and I think are still going to be, I think Seaver's going to take that day off from work, and we're going to be at the farm, so I probably won't podcast then. If I have time next Monday, maybe I will podcast in a week. No promises. So it'll either be a week from now or it'll be another 3 weeks. So yeah, sorry guys. Life just, you know, has its own plans. So, but thank you so much for watching. I'm really glad I did get to talk to you today and show you all my fun works in progress and my new acquisitions. And I hope you all are having a great start to your week. Thank you again for watching. If you're a new viewer, thank you so much for giving my podcast a chance. I hope you enjoyed what you saw. If you did, please hit the subscribe button on YouTube and maybe give it a thumbs up. Even if you already are a subscriber, you can still give it a thumbs up. And yeah, if you're a returning viewer, you hear me say this every single time, but thank you so much. I appreciate each and every one of you. And yeah, I love coming back and chatting with you guys. So hopefully it will be not too long from now that I get to do that. And until then, happy crafting. Please do things that make your heart happy. Be kind to one another. I love you all. Bye.